Hello and welcome to Super Fast Comic Book Reviews. I'm your host Jason, and this is my review video where I try and get through my reviews a bit quicker. I give each book a 30-second to a minute review, and hopefully we can make this a super fast video. First up we have Fantastic Four issue 4. Let's get the negative out of the way first, the bad points. I didn't get the whole time travel thing at the end of this issue. I didn't get why he had to do that and why he did do that. That made absolutely no sense. I also felt the whole thing with Sue came out of the blue, though I want to go back and reread the first 3 issues because I might be wrong on that. I admit, I might have just missed that in other issues, but it did sort of feel it come out of left field. The good things about this issue, there was a great scene between Ben and Johnny that felt very much like the Silver Age version of them, and a very old school kind of the antagonistic kind of relationship between the two. It did feel very much like the early days of the comic. The art in this book is great. Bagley's doing a fantastic job on this book, and I'm really enjoying his art. I also felt the aliens were really well realised, and their dialogue, just using different words here and there, made them feel very alien and a different culture, so I liked that. And I also thought it was a lovely story for Valentine's Day, with the whole thing running through it of how much Reed loves Sue, and remembering his first meeting and the first time they kissed, and their first date and everything. I thought that was a really lovely thread throughout the book. So yeah, I'm enjoying this book still, and I give Fantastic Four issue 4 4 stars. Next up we have Wolverine and the X-Men, which doesn't seem to be getting much love this week, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I felt we could have used a bit more explanation into who Dog was, but maybe that's going to come up in a future issue, so I'll give Jason Aaron the benefit of the doubt there. I did question why the Savage Land, because we're already getting that in Wolverine, in Savage Wolverine, so why did we need it in here as well? If that place is so dangerous that he gets stuck there and SHIELD agents are getting killed, why would he take his students there? I understand the whole premise of that, to put them in a dangerous situation to try and bring them together as a team, but surely there was somewhere else they could have used, and not just the Savage Land. I felt that it would have been nice to have done somewhere else. Positively though, there were some lovely moments between the characters in this book, between all the students. There's a really funny moment when Quentin Quire tries to take over the team and they ignore him, and some really funny bits with Glob and Eye-Boy, but then there's also some quite sad bits, as well, when Brew and I forgot her name. Oh yeah, Brew and Oya get their time alone. That's a quite sad moment, and you've got like Genesis, sort of everybody thinking that he's going to become a villain. That's really kind of, he's trying to overcome that, but everybody's always dragging him down to, this is what you're going to become. So I did like that moment. I also really liked the book was funny, and it was stuffed full with action, and I just always really enjoy reading this book. And yeah, I would give Wolverine and the X-Men issue 25 4 stars. Next up we have the Manhattan Projects, and this should have been called the Manhattan Project Strike Back, because you knew after the last issue that they weren't going to take what happened lying down. So this issue is where they strike back. We get to find out about the people that tried to shut them down last issue, and it's great to see the Manhattan Projects all split up to try to take on the different members of this group that tried to take them down. The end of this issue is fantastic. I really love the journey at the end, the introduction of the new president, of how the new status quo for the Manhattan Projects, and going forward it was looking like there's going to be some really interesting stuff happening in this book. As always, this book is really great fun, very wacky, but just a fantastic read, and I give Manhattan Projects issue number 9 5 stars. Next up was my most anticipated book of the week, and I gotta sadly say I was a bit disappointed. It was Batman issue 17, the finale of Death of the Family. And I don't know if it's my hopes, my expectations were so high that nothing could have satisfied them, or if it's just that I didn't fully grasp everything I was reading, but it just didn't hit the spot for me like the previous issues in this story have. As always, we'll get the negatives out of the way first. I felt the crossovers hurt the story, because while in this book, and I think in Batgirl, it was left very ambiguous, does Joker know their identities or not? In other books, the kind of things Joker was doing were too specific. He had to know their identities to be doing the stuff he was doing. So, you know, I felt that hurt this one, because then certain things didn't really play out and didn't make as much sense. I felt the whole thing with the explanation of why he cut his face off wasn't that great. You know, I didn't really buy into that, I thought. And also I felt like if Joker had a year to plan this, I felt there would have been a lot more at the end that he would have planned for. However, I must say the art is exceptional. I think this is going to be one of the best looking books of the year art wise, because Capullo just hits it out the park. There's so much terror on the faces of our heroes throughout this book, and the Joker really looks terrifying and creepy and menacing, and it's just really a great example of art. The other thing that's really great about this book was that they used the whole of the book to tell the story, that they didn't use some of it and then have a backup story. No, they used the whole of the book, which I liked. I thought that was a really good thing to do. There were some great twists along the way. My geek out moment of the week was when they revealed what was under those platters. That lived up to that, though there was a twist with it later on, but that did really live up to like what's under those platters. I thought that was brilliant, and it made me geek out. There's a nice scene at the end between Bruce and Alfred, similar to the scene they had at the end of Night of Owls between Nightwing and Batman, where like in this one, Batman sort of saying to Alfred, you know, we sort of get the explanation of why all through it he believed that Joker never knew their identity, which I liked, because throughout the story Batman has kind of looked at best arrogant, at worst in denial about the whole thing of Joker knows the identities. But I liked that they added that scene at the end with the explanation. I'm curious to find out what Joker said that made the family break up, and I liked how it didn't go the way I was expecting it to. It come from totally a different angle than I was expecting to, and I'm hoping that maybe in this book or in all the other books that we sort of explore why they're distancing themselves from Batman. The whole thing as well with the Joker's demise, I liked that they left that ambiguous, so we don't really know. And the whole thing at the end with the chemical and the Joker getting the last laugh, I thought was brilliant. And the fly on the screen was just a brilliant, you know, it reminded me of those horror movies where you have the monster and they've killed him, but then at the end the monster is still alive. And that whole thing with the fly was just a fantastic like horror moment for me, and I really thought it ended the book nicely. So while I was disappointed, it was still a fantastic read. It's still well worth picking up, and I give Batman issue 17 4 stars. Next up we have Bedlam, and I'm loving this book. It's issue 4, and with each issue I'm falling more and more in love with this book. We don't get that much Fillmore press in this issue. It's more dealing with the detective as she's sort of uncovering this case and finding out that Fillmore is innocent. As all great writers do, the more answers we get, and we get a lot of answers in this issue, but they provide more questions, and Nick Spencer does that masterfully here, as we get a lot of answers but we still got a lot of questions. I really like the art style and the manic way that they draw Fillmore Press, especially the way his eyes do look that kind of manic impression. I like that. I just think this is a really exceptional book. Some really great stuff going on in this book at the moment. Really recommend picking it up. Either you wait for the trade, or you know, try and dig out the previous issues, because it has been a really great book that just gets better and better. And I give Bedlam issue 4 5 stars. Next up we have Clone issue 4, and this is another great book. This issue, you know, we get introduced to some characters, we lose some characters, we have some shock deaths, which is, I think, one of the things that creator-owned books kind of have the advantage in that, where, you know if you're reading Batman, if Batman's going to die, you'll have read about it before it happens, so you'll know it's coming. There's going to be no surprise. With this, you don't know. They could kill any character at any moment, and I think that's one of the things that make this book so great. the story moves along at a really fast pace, and loads happens. And it's just a really outstanding read. The story's moving along lovely. I can't say enough good things about this book. I'm loving it. It's a great science fiction romp, and you know, again, like with Bedlam, you know, the more answers you get, the more questions you got. So I give Clone 5 stars, and another book that I really recommend trying out. And finally, I knew this week going in that most probably a Batman book would get 5 stars. I also knew going in this week into my books that a Batman book would most probably be my pick of the week. The thing was, I didn't expect it to be this Batman book. Batman and Robin issue 17 is my pick of the week, and it is a fantastic read. Peter Tomasi had done a great job with Damian, taking him from that first issue of being a really unlikable character to now him being a character I actually really like and root for. There's some nice moments in this book. Each dream the characters have in here that we see them have sort of reveals something about each character, so it's a nice character piece. There's a lovely moment with Alfred after his dream where he has this little smile. I also really like the ending of this book. It was a lovely ending that could melt the hardest art, and I really enjoyed the book. It was just a really great issue that just really come out of the blue. I wasn't expecting this, but it's a really great standalone issue and a really great idea for the issue, and yeah, I really recommend picking this one up as well. It's my pick of the week. It's a 5-star one. It is Batman and Robin issue 17. So that's all my books this week. It was a bit of a shorter week, thankfully, this week. I'll be back next week with another review. If you want longer reviews, I will have up probably the next couple of days. There'll be my Uncanny comic book reviews, which will be longer, more in-depth reviews on all of these books. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. Please, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up and leave comments below. What have you been reading? What did you enjoy this week? What did you think about the conclusion of Batman, Death of the Family? Sorry. You know, I always love hearing people's views, and so please use the comments below. Somewhere around here there'll be a subscribe button. Hit it if you like what you see in this video, and you'll get every time I upload a video, it will come up in your feed. As always, thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.